I, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, do solemnly swear
I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friendly neighborhood president's guy, and we're going to be doing a bit of a fun reaction today. I've probably only ever talked about this, but in my entire life, I have been a huge fan of Family Guy. And that goes back to me watching it, I think starting at like age 8 in 2005, which was, for me, the peak era of Family Guy. But Family Guy has never shied away from making jokes or commentary about politics, despite what many people may think. They've always been involved in the political arena, just maybe a little more heightened these days. But they've always gone especially in on the presidents. And it's not just been Republican presidents, not just been Democrat presidents. And the jokes are pretty funny. So we're going to take a look today at some of the greatest hits, so to speak, of Family Guy roasting the American presidents.
Why not Ronald Reagan? He was always fun, especially in his later years.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Tear it down. Reagan smash! Reagan smash!
What's that?
Oh, it's just Reagan. Just leave him alone. He'll tire himself out.
Reagan sleepy.
And that's the twofold joke right there. Obviously, they're talking about Ronald Reagan being very old, but they're also talking about his battle with Alzheimer's, which kind of engulfed his life after his presidency ended. And for the last 10 years of his life, he kind of just was in a reclusive state, and people didn't really see him. And he ended up passing, I believe, in 2004. And that's obviously a commentary on Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall, talking about the Berlin Wall during the Cold War. Pretty funny joke. I do remember that one from back in the day.
Must be how Ronald Reagan felt about Nancy. Nancy, will you make me the happiest man in the world by turning a blind eye to the AIDS crisis and ineffectually trying to warn young people about drugs?
Yes! Oh, yes, Ronnie, yes!
If you're too young, those are both things she did.
So here's the thing about Nancy Reagan. She was insane. I highly recommend two things, which would be the HBO series The Reagans. I think it's a two-parter, about an hour and 40 minutes in total. And also the Rick Perlstein. He actually there's 4 books, which basically covers from 1960 to 1988. The final book is called Reaganland, which is about Reagan's presidency, but also in Nixonland in The Invisible Bridge. Those are 2 separate books. They also talk about kind of the rise of Reagan, so I would recommend those. But Nancy Reagan was insane. Like, she refused when he was governor of California, she refused to live in the residence because it was, improperly furnished and suited to her lifestyle and its placement in the state. She had a psychic that kind of gave her directions to give to Ronald about how to govern. Just insane stuff. So you really should look into that, because that stuff is very true and very interesting, that the president of the United States was listening to his batshit crazy wife about these things.
Can eat brains. Reagan, forget where Reagan going with this. Reagan needs ride home.
Ronald Reagan was...
A lot of Reagan jokes in this one. Obviously, again, just a forgetfulness. Even his zombie has Alzheimer's. Seth MacFarlane makes no bones about it that he's an 80s kid that did not like Reagan.
married.
Mr. President, did you reach a missile pact?
Well, you could say that. There was a missile, and something definitely got packed.
Now, this is obviously insinuating that Reagan and Gorbachev were gay together. I've never actually heard that. Is that even a rumor that was ever a thing before? I don't think so. It's probably just another Reagan joke.
Did you discuss ICBMs?
Well, I did see a BM.
That's just crass. Okay, so apparently there's an extended version of this, because everything after the first question was all I ever saw on TV. So this must have been like part of the DVD release.
So, would you consider this a successful summit?
Oh, yes. I summited 3 times.
Are you finished with the butt-fucking puns?
Mr. President, why do you think the American...
That's great. Hello.
Where'd you go now?
Downstairs?
He's already awake again. I was gonna put him on, but I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to get him and put him on the opposite side where I'm laying.
Do I need to come all the way back upstairs?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna have to figure out how to do this, but...
Oh, God. You know, you got to enjoy when the writers, you know, are just coming up with jokes just to pop themselves.
American public has continued to support you throughout these impeachment proceedings. Oh, probably because you're so fat. In other news, former...
I tell you, some of the harshest jokes that Family Guy's ever written about a president was about Clinton. Family Guy debuts in '99, so it's not long after the Monica Lewinsky stuff. It would have been written probably about a year earlier. They really went in on Clinton, you know, in those early years. I mean, hard.
President Bill Clinton was in town today to judge Quahog's annual Miss Cankle USA contest. Now that's a cankle. Where does the calf fat end and the ankle fat begin? Who knows? That's the fun.
Okay, your turn to spin the bottle, guy dressed like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, dressed like... All right, let's go make some white water.
And I call him back to the Whitewater scandal, which I'm sure no one watching this episode from, I don't know, this would have been sometime when I was in high school, from 2015 would understand what the hell they're talking about. But for those who know, very funny.
Hey, Lois, you up for a little exit polling?
Are you asking me what I think you're asking me?
Well, that depends on what your definition of the word jizz is. Hey, I appreciate
This Clinton episode from like 2006 is one of the funniest Family Guy's ever done. So good. Whoever's doing Clinton's voice is not bad.
your help, man. We're a little overloaded because I'm having a fat chick party back here. All right, girls, I've turned off the AC. First one to have a bead of neck sweat reach their butt crack wins.
My fellow Americans,
Clinton
I
was a
have
dog.
not been entirely truthful with you. I did gagoogity that girl. I geschmoigity her geflavority with my googus. And I am sorry. It's a
having Quagmire as Clinton is probably the most apropos thing Family Guy's ever done. Obviously, they're making fun of Clinton's apology to the nation there when he kind of fessed up and said, yeah, I lied and I did, you know, have this affair with Monica Lewinsky, and I hope you can forgive me. And, you know, it was around the impeachment inquiry and all that. Perfectly apropos.
Perfect scam, like Teddy Roosevelt getting to be on Mount Rushmore.
I won the Revolutionary War. I won the Civil War. I gained possession of Guam.
like when we...
Which, you know, Roosevelt did know the sculptor for Rushmore, which was also the sculptor for Mount Everest. Not Mount Everest, which is also the sculptor for Stone Mountain here in Georgia. And to me, Teddy's one of our greatest presidents. And I think most people that are literate in presidential and American history would agree. Teddy did far more than just get Guam. You know, his national park conservation, trust busting. You know his kind of progressive policies. You know, the way he reshaped the presidency with the bully pulpit. I mean, you could go on and on all day about why Teddy Roosevelt deserves to be on Mount Rushmore. I don't know that he would necessarily be on mine, but he'd maybe be in the 5th or 6th spot if he wasn't in the top 4.
used to rob banks in lesser-known presidents' masks.
All right, remember to tell everyone who did this.
Who are you guys supposed to be?
Come on, I'm James K. Polk. He's Millard Fillmore. He's William Henry Harrison. First president to die in office.
You should have been FDR.
Why?
Because of the, you know.
The wheelchair doesn't define me.
And I'm Grover Cleveland. It's funny, because my name's Cleveland.
Oh, damn it, Cleveland. Now we gotta kill them all. This guy gets it first.
And I would say, of all those, Grover Cleveland, I would say really, other than Fillmore, those other three are probably pretty well known, more than you would think. People definitely don't know Millard Fillmore, but James K. Polk, one of our more successful presidencies, people would know him if for nothing else, the name of the middle school in Nesdy Classified School Survival Guide. People if they know William Henry Harrison, it's only for the obscure fact that he died very shortly into office. But Grover Cleveland being the first president to have non-consecutive terms, I think, that's fairly well known. Maybe the average person wouldn't know. Maybe my my presidential obsession maybe makes my opinion a little skewed, but I think he could have probably went with some more obscure presidents there, like a Martin Van Buren or a Benjamin Harrison, something like that.
And so I say to you, America, we are going to win this war. We're going to end this depression. And there's no reason to suspect that I cannot walk. God bless America. And cut! The newsreel's over. Thank you, Mr. President. You're welcome, gentlemen. Now, if you'd kindly kick me into the closet with the mops. Ah, must be a Yale man. Shut up.
So obviously FDR, obviously wasn't held up by strings, but yes, he couldn't walk, but he did wear leg braces, and the way that they would shadow people around him and with the aid of canes and things like that, he could, make it look like he could walk. And the press, obviously this would never happen today, but they kind of had an agreement with the press that they would not shoot him in ways that would reveal that he could not walk. So they really did him a favor in that regard. But yeah, obviously hiding it from the press, the puppeteer thing, that's hilarious. So we're now into the string from the mid 2000s of the George Bush's dumb jokes. There's a whole episode in American Dad about George Bush just being a dumb drunk, but yeah, this is some of the greatest stuff.
Damn. Laura! Mr. President, are you up there? Go away. Sir, there's a disaster in New Orleans. I'm reading Super Fudge. You gotta come down and deal with this. Don't make me do stuff. If anyone out...
Obviously, because during Katrina, Bush's response was lackluster to say the least. The FEMA response was lackluster for certain. So don't make me do stuff. That's absolutely hilarious.
There can get their hands on a clown suitcase. I'd very much like to see what's inside of there. Uncle Rush!
Hey, whoo, you are getting heavy.
I know. I'm 64 3/4.
You sure are a slugger.
Hey, you got one for me?
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, Uncle Rush.
I don't know what you're talking about, really.
Come on.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah, yippee! Thanks, Uncle Rush. Don't tell my dad.
Can't believe this worked.
And I will say, I do like George Bush as a human being, not a very smart man.
I was afraid I'd stick out, like the one guy in Lincoln's cabinet who didn't have a beard. I want to win this war, and I want to do it fast. Ideas?
We should beat the rebels head-on in Virginia.
Yes, and use our ships to block their supply chains.
We could also use our troop advantage to outflank them in the West.
What did that baby just say?
Which is funny, because I think the only person... Actually, I think there's probably more than one. I think, let me peek at my copy of Team of Rivals here. Yeah, neither Chase nor Seward had a beard. So I assume in that regard, they're probably, I guess Seward would be the one in that response because Chase was bald. But yeah, I mean, obviously most people in the mid-19th century had facial hair, but even Lincoln didn't have a beard until right before he got to D.C.
Hey, Dale, I noticed your lawn's getting a little high.
Yeah, I used to have a guy for that.
Dick. Okay, now, you have a good one.
Why?
Now, obviously, he's talking about Lincoln freeing the slaves, but Lincoln actually would not have lived to see slavery abolished. He actually dies before the amendment's properly adopted and ratified at the end of the year. But actually, there's a lot of stuff missing here. That Clinton episode had a lot of alternative... when he asked Lois that question, he asked a couple of alternative versions that were even dirtier than what you saw. And they left pretty much they left all the Trump stuff out. There's a few other Clinton ones, like where he's dancing around naked down the street and doing a lot of stuff. Or the episode where Peter has his own country and Clinton's in a very serious military meeting, but he's completely naked. But that was pretty good. Family Guy's always been pretty on the button when it comes to their presidential commentary. I'm going to see if I can find any more clips in the future. and we'll maybe do a part 2 to this. Maybe throw in, you know, Futurama or American Dad, something like that. But let me know what you thought about that down below. Like, subscribe, share the video, and make sure you get the bell notification on so you get alerted whenever there's future uploads. And tune into our live streams on Saturday nights around 10:30 Eastern Time. Often some very lively discussions. And this Saturday's topic is going to be whether the 2020 election was stolen in the state of Georgia. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, never stop learning.